Hello, hello. Do you want to check it? Check the link. See if it's working.
Yep.
Okay. That's it. Actually, okay. All right. Weird. It's on backwards for some reason on there, so I guess I would watch on here. All right. Looks like we're good to go. Get your hearing back, Henry?
It's like in there.
Sam said it was the loudest one you've ever been. Joel, Raj, and I saw those logos that you wouldn't think would be
Is it good now?
Yeah. What are we doing here, bud?
The test is still up there. It's like up on the public thing. So when you click on the thing, the test, it's like test there. So I'm just deleting this test.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Yep.
Move it back. You got this covered. Joe's our video production guru, so he's got it.
Great.
You just
It's fantastic.
could you bring my computer to my house afterwards, just so
Absolutely.
it makes me nervous to have
No.
a couple documents.
Is any of this stuff here? I mean, the table,
The
obviously.
rest of it I'll deal with tomorrow morning.
Well,
but
what-
just the computer is fine.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't get your window. That's true.
Yeah. So just the computer's fine.
Okay.
The rest of it will be totally fine.
Okay. Joe, are you good?
Yeah. Is it streaming already? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, the forum will begin in 5 minutes. How are they doing this? Didn't hear me. 5 minutes. Okay, good evening. My name is Kerry Hopperson. I will be the moderator for this event. Welcome to the candidate forum for 2022. Candidates running for Aitkin School Board election sponsored by Education Minnesota. So allow me on behalf of Education Minnesota to thank the candidates and those of you here in attendance for joining us here tonight. Thank you. Okay, here we go. So tonight we are joined by 8 of our 11 school board candidates. Before we begin the question and answer portion of the evening, we'll give each candidate 90 seconds to introduce themselves to the audience. Ms. Young, we'll begin with you and move across the stage, passing the microphone as you finish, and please remember to talk directly straight into it. So let us begin.
Good evening. My name is Celia Young. I have been married for 14 years and am the mother of 4 brand voluptuous boys, ages 12, 9, 12, 9, 5, and 3. We have currently moved up to the state in Asia and has taken us our home. I have a college degree and have recently passed my contractor's license exam. I am a small business owner and I have been volunteering here for 4 years. That was before we moved up here. One of my biggest motivations for running for school board is I believe that our children, our teachers, and our parents need a voice. They need to talk. They need to be heard of what they need and what we need in our schools. I also believe that history should be taught. History should not be erased, whether it's good or bad, we need to learn from the past. Just so it doesn't repeat itself. I have the next 15 years in the school district with my kids. Everything that we do today will impact what they learn and what they know tomorrow.
My name's Kevin Holt. I've been on the board for 12 years or whatever. Grew up here, married my classmate Carol Holt, still married. Raised the two girls here. They're both went through college and all started their own family. Well, the oldest one started their family, the other one's married also. I just hope that we as a board, whoever you elect, can get along more and work for the people. Kids. The kids are number one, and I'm part of the board that's, we've done nothing last year except argue about the goods and bads, but I want to get back to the old style where we let and it's not my employees, but the people teach our kids and raise our kids, and with our our input also. I think we got a really good school here. Except we got to push it a little to the west side, which is the hands-on learning stuff, and that's what we're missing right now.
Thank you. Holly?
Hello, I am Holly Mindrum. If you knew me growing up, you might have known me as Holly Thompson, or in my 20s as Holly Eisenbrun. But I grew up here and I've lived here my whole life. I chose to stay because Aitkin is a great place to raise our children. The school had a big lot to do with that. I wanted my kids to have the same kind of childhood that I had. That included having teachers that knew them, gave them a quality education. Maybe they went to church with them. Maybe they have a child in the same grade, or maybe they taught their parents. I am a parent of 3 kids in the district. I own a business here in town, and I'm a 2002 Aitkin graduate. I planned to run for school board in 2020, but COVID shut down my industry and my business needed my full attention. But with life back on track, I'm ready to take up my bid for this position. In 2018, after many failed levies and referendums, I began to watch the board closely. It ignited a passion I did not know I had, public education. I realized that years of administrative turnover, we had fallen behind in strategic planning. The board had failed to keep our district on course through the many transitions. In 2020, public education moved to the forefront of public interest due to the pandemic. It made the board meetings easier for the public and the members to attend virtually. It's also when we begin to see political bias start to stall our already slow process.
Rollins?
Good evening, Godwin Country. It's great to see everybody came here this evening. My name is Roland Hill. I've been married to my wife for 31 years. I have 2 sons, Kylan and Kinzer. One's married, one's almost married. And I have a little grandson named Simon Hill 2.0. He's an awesome kid. I've lived in Aitkin most of my life. Graduated in 1983, along with Kay. Graduated from Concordia College with a bachelor's degree in marketing. I've been in leadership roles in my professional career for about 30 years, working for small to large corporation businesses. I'm principal owner of Indigenous Business Advisors, LLC, and sole owner of First Peoples Insurance. I have consulting experience in a lot of different areas, including education, real estate, hospitality, gaming, PR, executive level hiring and recruitment, firearms, healthcare, mining, energy, and government. I'm a people network consultant. Basically, I get paid to bring folks around the table to discuss business deals or to understand culture and diversity in today's world. Mostly with businesses hire me to work with Indigenous communities and understand them. I'm a proud enrolled member of the Red Lake Nation. I still practice my traditional hunting, fishing, and gathering methods my father Simon taught me while growing up. I continue to evolve my learning of the Anishinaabe culture, do my best in handing that to my boys, friends, and others who desire it. I'm a consensus builder. I work hard to bring stability to our school work because our kids deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Cassie?
Hello, everyone. My name is Cassie Peterson, Cassie Fokish. as of 2 years ago. But I'm happy to be here, and I want to welcome you all in person and online. Thank you for making that online option. I chose to run for school board because I'm a new mom. In a few short years, my daughter will be attending Aitkin schools. I believe our school board needs a fresh start, and I want to be a part of that positive change. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Jason?
Good evening. My name is Jason Jones, graduate of 1989. 2 children, one graduated, one on his way. Older child with grandchildren. Kind of awesome. You know, I struggle with some of this stuff because I think about what do we do and why would I want to do this? Why would I want to be up here, right? So I look back at my career. I've had a 31 years of service to God and packaging, and we're proud of it. We are a multi-billion dollar company, and we work on numbers, we work on people, we work on resources. How do we make a place to work for, right? So if I could have, if I could take some of that and pay it forward as a graduate from this school, I would say, I could take that education, 31 years of education, and maybe I can help this place. It's a business. This place is a business. And we need to treat it like that. And it's not just money, it's people, it's kids. That's what we have to focus on. Easier said than done, right? Easier said than done. But we have to work on it together to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Jen?
Good evening. Thank you all for being here, and for those of you attending online, thank you. I'm really happy to be here tonight. For those of you who don't know me or what I stand for, I really hope that you can get those answers tonight. I chose to run for the school board because I'm really invested in our community and in our children. My husband, Leo, and I have 4 kids, and our niece, Haley, moved in with us over the summer and transferred into Aitkin High School. So we have a 1st, 3rd, 5th, 10th, and 12th grader in our home. And our children have attended these schools from preschool. And Leo and I weren't born here, we weren't raised here, we didn't graduate from here, but this is our home, and we are really proud to be part of this district. I also had the opportunity to work in the schools, and I think it was so eye-opening for me. It's incredible what everybody that steps foot in that school does for our children. It's from educating them to clipping their fingernails to making sure they have their jacket on before they get on the bus. There's so much that they do, and I feel so passionate about being an advocate for our students, for our staff, for our teachers, for administration, and for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Jody?
Hi, I'm Jody Olson. I actually grew up coming up to Aitkin County since I was a baby. My great-grandparents homesteaded Hazelton Township, so it's been named after them. I'm a community member. My children have all been raised here. I'm a sinner saved by grace, a wife, a mother, grandmother, daughter, farmer, licensed marriage and family therapist, and small business owner. I would say that I've been motivated by the Lord to run for school board. He did not say I would win the election. However, I saw a need, and I have always been one to step up if called to do so. I have been in several positions before that I believe would qualify me to step into this role. I feel very passionate about the well-being of the children and the members of this community. So my only real goal in doing this is that I could help in some way. Some of the qualities I have is that I'm a leader and a follower, both, a good communicator most of the time. I have past experiences on boards, all of them being volunteer positions. I've done short-term employment both at Rippleside, and junior high level. I've done research related to child's education and learning abilities of the U Valley. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you all. these off. Now that the audience is familiar with each of the candidates, we'll begin the question and answer portion of the evening. The candidates will be given questions and have 60 seconds to answer each question given. Time limits will be strictly enforced. Our timer, who you've already seen down below, Missy, sitting in the front row, will give a 15-second warning, and then when each candidate's time has ended. In order to maximize the time for our candidates to answer questions, we'll ask the audience to avoid expressions of support or opposition to any candidate during the presentation time or answers to the questions. This is a forum, so we're just here to hear candidates. This is not planned as a debate between any of these candidates. So here we begin. Ms. Young, we'll get the first question. So the first question is, what is your vision for ISD1?
My vision would be to our children, our parents, and our teachers, especially, a voice to help them keep our schools safe. We need to give them a voice and let them be heard. We also need more community involvement in our schools and with our children and vice versa. I also believe that we need to take our education back to the fundamentals and keep the political agendas out of our schools. We need to keep our history in and the politicals out.
My vision for school is kids, kids, and kids. I wish it was back in 1978 when we didn't have much technology back then. I am amazed at how good the school is. My two daughters going through college. A lot of big schools have no college credits. Both my daughters did 40, 50 credits when they left. And I'm surprised that Aitkin, I don't get out of Aitkin much, but I'm surprised how much better this little school is compared to the most bigger schools. We as a board just got to get along and help push forward. Thank you.
My vision for ISD1, I have 3 priorities because there's a lot and you can't fit it in a minute. The top priority for me is a district with a clear path to the future. We need to do strategic planning. You cannot continue a district without a plan and an idea of where you are going. A board that works together as a team so we can accomplish that strategic plan. And student educational success needs to be our top priority. Our kids should always be our top priority.
I second the strategic plan. I always look at vision as somewhat of a dream, so here goes my dream. We at ISD1 develop well-rounded, well-educated students ready to take on their world as they see it. We at ISD1 have a world-class group of educators that allow the flexibility to teach our students subjects and principles applicable to today's world. We at ISD1 as a school board that macro-manages, encourage educators, and praise students. We at ISD1 have a community that wholeheartedly supports the school district and is Gobbler proud. Basically, why is that? Because our kids deserve the best.
My vision for ISD1. In the future, I see ISD1 continuing its educational excellence because it truly is excellent, our teachers and administration. I hope for a better environment where teachers have access to the resources they need and feel supported. A better environment where teachers have access to resources they need and feel supported by their students, parents, and community. I hope that our athletics and arts programs continue to thrive and grow. I hope for an open line of communication between board members, administration, teachers, parents, and students. I hope someday for a new home for ISD1. Rome was not made in a day, so it will be a one. That attracts more people to our town. Our school should be a pillar within our community and a place we can all be proud of.
So Roland, you said it right. We're gonna look at a vision. We're gonna look at, what could it look like, right? And we all think about safety, right? Right now, we don't have an on-site officer. It costs money. How do we plan for that? We talk about the decline in people, decline in educators and kids. Why? So if you build a culture, and this is what we've done at my group at work, We build a culture that says, how can I make it so people want to be here? How do we do that? I'm not saying that the current board didn't do that, but I'm saying as an inexperienced board member, I would have to ask some questions and try to learn. How do we make this a better school? How do we do it?
My vision for ISD1 is to be the school that every student wants to attend, to be the school that every parent or caregiver wants to send their child to be the school that is overflowing with applications of people who want to work here. And we do that by remembering what our common goal is, by doing what's best for the children. And we do that by changing the narrative. It's our responsibility to the children in our community to put our best selves forward, to draw from the strengths from one another, to collaborate and be productive while being sensitive and aware to other people's viewpoints, always working towards that common goal. I will promote an effective and respective school board. I will be an advocate for our community, for our students, for our staff, for our teachers, and I will make sure that our curriculum aligns with the district's vision, with our short and long-term ideas being met and preserved.
Thank you.
I envision Aitkin Public School to be a safe environment where the children can do their best academically, where they can be both challenged and not left behind, where the community of teachers can feel comfortable in teaching the fundamentals to their students, where all staff are heard and validated for their ideas, where the ideas of respect, responsibility, pride, and character, which the school system is already trying to implement, is successful, where parents are comfortable with the ideologies that are being taught, where we have provided every opportunity for the students to be successful in the communities they choose to live in after they finish the education plan.
Okay, thank you, Jody. That concludes question one. For question two, I will start with Mr. Hogue. Please take the microphone. I'll ask the question. Question two is, if elected, what are your priorities for ISD1 students?
I already mentioned a little bit. I think the college part of it is really great. I just think we got to go to the west. When I say the west school, the shop classes, we got to have more hands-on. You can still be a doctor, but learn how to put shingles on. You know, so I think we're down as low as we're gonna get for numbers because of the size of the families nowadays. But like I said, we are really good on that side. We just gotta get more kids over there, and it sounds like more kids are going that way to learn the hands-on stuff.
My top priority for students at Aitkin High School, with the economic trends, 47% of our workforce in Aitkin is high school graduate only, if you look at our staff. So we obviously need to give them some business education. We need to help them with the trades, so I'm on board with Kevin. District-wide, mental health. We need to worry about these children's mental health and offer them ways to get better mental health, whether it's peer groups, staff training, added mental health workers, which could happen with the new Mental Health Matters Act. So let's hope we get that. In Rippleside, I want to invest in our core learning years. We need to fully staff those younger grades. We need to cap their class sizes because you cannot fix a problem when you didn't have a foundation if you didn't build the foundation first. So we need to really be building that foundation down there in the core learning years so we're not in crisis mode in the upper years.
The top priority for me is to provide as many academic and extracurricular opportunities as possible, fostering an environment where students can thrive, be challenged, and grow. I agree we need strong ag and vocational programs where students can learn the basics of auto repair, home repair, things like that. Also, these types of vocational jobs are in high demand out there. In addition, we still need to continue to give more opportunities to better prepare our students for college-type careers. It's great that they go to college while they're here. My son did that while they were here. I've had the opportunity to work with several different companies and corporations over my professional life. The successful businesses and organizations have adapted to the world we are in, and our district needs to do the same because our kids deserve it. Thank you.
If elected, my priorities for ISD1 students are keeping class sizes small. Having an individualized experience ensures that students are cared for and getting what they need. Keeping a wide variety of classes, like what has been said, art, shop, ag, home ec, music. These classes produce well-rounded graduates and have the potential to spark passion within students for future career paths. Keeping college in the schools available. Having these classes saved me a boatload of money when I went to college, and I really was thankful for that. Having the post-secondary relationship with CLC is fantastic, but if we can keep those driven students, those academically talented students within our hallways, I would love to see that too. And then lastly, keeping our schools safe. Kids should feel safe, but also we should be monitoring what goes on in the hallways and preparing for the worst case scenario. Keeping entrances locked and having proper staff training, along with having counselors available and resources for students.
Thank you.
Priorities, I kind of struggle to walk up to this one because there's obviously a lot that we already think about, but I'll just start with safety. We are so blessed to be in the community that we are in. I've been to a lot of other cities, and this is really good, folks. But how do we make it better? How do we protect our kids? You mentioned the different things that have to happen. But, Ron, you talked about trades, absolutely. I wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't live in Aitkin if I didn't have the job because of trades right now. There's postings. And I actually, whether or not elected or not, our art, craft, and packaging team will be working with the school to bring trades in, to bring them to our facility, to help them out. Thank you.
My priorities for Aitkin students is to make sure that they feel like they're walking into a safe, supportive, inclusive learning environment every single day, and that they continue to receive the high quality education that they get from Aitkin Public Schools. I want to see college classes remain in the high school and to have that extra help available for those who need it. Mental health is a priority for me. I see many children in the clinic that are struggling with mental health, and I feel like our community and the district is doing a fantastic job and working very hard on ending the stigma and getting resources to these kids. So I want to be part of keeping that momentum going so our kids can be healthy.
First of all, I agree with many of the things that have already been said. When first elected, the first thing I need to do is finish reading all the policies, procedures, and regulations. Then my priority is to visit with teachers. Teachers are the front line. I need to see what they see and hear what they hear. The next is to hear more from the parents, find out what it is they're looking for. One of my roles as a school board member is to help write policies, and that will serve all members of the community. I am to ensure that the superintendent after that is then implementing those daily happenings in the district. But there are many other things that we could be doing.
My main priority would be the kids. They need the support and they need to be heard. The second priority would be the teachers. Our teachers do not get enough support, they do not get enough resources. They also need the backing of their other staff members in our local community. The third priority would be the parents. There is a huge lack of communication between the schools and the parents. And they also need better support. We need to take our core values and we need to run with them. That is something that we need in our school board. That's something that we need.
Thank you, Celia. For question 3, I will start with Ms. Minner. Please take the microphone and I'll ask the question. What What do you feel is the biggest challenge facing ISD1, and what is the school board's role in addressing that challenge?
The biggest challenge facing ISD1 is not just a challenge for them, but for all schools, and that's funding. Some of the causes for our underfunding is underfunded mandates by the state. Our special education, our English learner mandates are not funded, which means we have to take that money from our general education fund and spend it to cover those mandates. We also have a community with a low tax income base, so we can't keep drawing from our property taxes. Our board's role in addressing this is making sure our current funding that we do have is utilized properly. We should be pursuing grants for programs and funding, not just expecting the money to be given to us. And we need to be pushing our state representatives and senators to fund those underfunded mandates. If they expect us to offer the services, we would expect that they cover the money so that our other children who are not part of those programs get to have what they need to.
Right now, I believe the biggest challenge is the influence by non-educators trying to manipulate our district by spreading false, harmful rhetoric of national politics. They hear within their echo chambers of social media. These extreme group influences do not belong in this Aitkin School District governance at all. We are not on the front lines of some concerted extremist effort to move the minds of our youth. We at ISD1 are not facing tyrant force of evil hell-bent on indoctrinating our students in Marxist ideology and woke culture. If elected, I'll focus on real issues, bringing consensus to our district and that's what's facing Aitkin School District, including deteriorating facilities, budget control, curriculum shortfalls. I'll work tirelessly on this because our kids deserve this.
I feel that one of the biggest challenges that ISD1 is facing is, in all honesty, getting the school board under control. The behavior that has ensued in past meetings has put a dark cloud over our district. It affects our students, our staff, and the entire image of Aitkin schools. It has affected our enrollment, teacher morale, and it has shown kids a poor example of how grown adults work together. Our board needs a fresh start and needs to work together to make changes for the greater good of our district.
Talk about the funding, and we talk about the stuff going on during the meetings and frustrations, but we know that funding has been a conversation forever. When I think about if I was to approach a plan of let's just say $2 million, let's say $10 million, I know the one thing I have to do first is check myself. I have to say, okay, where are we at with our expenses? Where is there waste? Is there an opportunity? Is there an opportunity to free up some money? That's a big deal. If we do 3% increases or 4% increases on an annual basis, I have to drive out 3 to 4% of my expenses. And it's not hard. It's just you need to study. And I say it's not hard, but I know it's not easy. That's what I'd like to. I'd like to really focus on. Thank you.
I think the biggest challenge is the need for relationship building and communication between the board, administration, teacher, staff, and the community. If the board can build and strengthen relationships by encouraging and effectively communicating, then we can build unity between these groups. And we can do this by reminding ourselves that we are all here for the same reasons. We can do this if we keep the kids at the forefront. We can do this by being transparent and always assuming positive intent. If we can do this, then we can gain and earn trust in our community members, and then they will invest in us. Our students depend on it.
I believe also that the biggest challenge will be helping people focus on solutions, not problems. To have an open and respectful dialogue based on facts, not assumptions. As a school board member, I believe it will be my job to do research needed to find facts of issues brought up and then put together proposals to help solve solutions. This is something that all of us need to focus on, is that solution focus will help our community better.
One of the biggest challenges I see, and I know this was from my hometown, is keeping our kids engaged. We need to get them more involved in whether it's community work or activities to keep them off the streets. We need to instill in them that it is important for them to education so they don't skip school. The role as a school board is we need to instill those core values into them. We need to give them more outlook. We need to teach them different trades. We need to not just push the whole college, but get them into trades. We need to focus more on the kids in the future because they are our future.
You heard this before on some of these, but budget. We are the cheapest district to run. We get $400, now we moved up to $700, but that's it, $700 and some dollars. Crosby gets $3,000 a kid, we get $700 and something. This rough running just passed, it's just filling a full of holes. We gotta get more, the board before me was good, they're conservative, but now it's bit us that we can't, the tax guy told us right and said, we can't raise it $50, it's $50 out of 400, 700 is a lot of money. You charge 300, raise it 100, it's let's go for it. So the biggest trouble is the budget. So, and the board's got to get the others figured out, but it's got to come from the state and capital where the money's at.
Thank you, Kevin. That concludes our question 3 answers. For question 4, I will start with Mr. Hill. So please take the microphone and I'll ask the question. A challenge in most districts is the teacher shortage. How will you assure our ISD1 students continue to receive a quality education for professional teachers?
I will work hard to bring financial stability to the district, allowing the school administration a chance to attract and retain high-quality teachers. I'll make sure that our teachers are respected, valued, and most importantly, protected. Teachers have an important job and work tirelessly on behalf of the students. It's wrong to verbally attack teachers. In business, retention of staff is much more cost-effective than hiring somebody. On average, it costs the district about $20,000 to $30,000 to replace a teacher. It's much greater cost to replace administration people within the school. So developing our staff in a positive yet comprehensive way will benefit our students because our kids deserve this also.
How I would combat the teacher shortage is, as an elected board member, being a listening ear to the amazing teachers that we already have. What do they need to do their job the best that they can? Showing support and working to get the resources they need will make coming to work each day a much better experience. When it comes to attracting new teaching talent, we need to keep working on our facilities and keep showing how much heart ISD1 really has. Our students are polite and talented, and strangers will tell you that. Our staff works collaboratively and encourages one another. We've seen examples of that. We need to make ISD1 a great place to work.
So we've got teacher shortages, we have employee shortages, going through it everywhere. For me, it has to be a good place to work. Like, your culture has to say, hey, friend, you just graduated from college, would you like to come work here? That's why. I don't know that we get that. I don't know that we don't get that. I can only tell you that we spend hours, hundreds of hours trying to retain, experts. In this case, it would be educators. In my case, it would be people from the trades. It's hard. It's hard, and you have to have a good place to come work. I mean, that to me is setting the stage for growing in the future.
I told my oldest, since there was a teacher shortage and was going to apply to be a sub, and he begged me not to do that. Having worked in the schools, I got a very good look at how hard teachers work. They put in hours beyond the class day hours. They use their own money to make sure their students have the stuff they need to be successful. And I think that how we retain our excellent teachers is to make sure that they feel supported, respected, valued, and appreciated. I can't imagine how difficult it is to be a teacher, especially during a pandemic. And with all of the upset in the community, being very careful not to say the wrong thing. Support, respect.
I agree with Jen. One of my goals is I'm hoping to visit with teachers. I would be to be able to find out ways the district is falling short in helping teachers to do the best job I believe that they want to do. I'm hoping to be able to write proposals that will ensure that teachers are equipped to succeed in teaching. I believe if teachers have the support they need, they'll feel comfortable, and others will want to be in that environment also.
I think we need to set standards. We need to look at making sure that our school gets good quality teachers and paraprofessionals. I also believe, I know that their funding isn't always there, but we need to fight to get that funding. So we give them better wages. They should not have to take money out of their pockets to help our kids, to give them a better teaching environment. We need to also give them the support and resources that they need. We also need to back them. If they make a decision, we need to give them our support. We need to give them our respect for voicing their opinions. Better pay, better respect, better is way better for quality teaching.
I think teachers are, but I don't think in all the years I've been here, we've lost that many teachers. They're here for the right reason. They want to teach, they want to live in a little community, and that's the big thing. But I don't, the budget again, you can give so much to pay. You can't just throw money in the air, and then, you gotta let the teachers teach something. If we put the credentials on, they pretty soon they don't want to teach up and sit right down the middle. You gotta be able to go like this, down and teach, and you gotta let the teachers teach. But I think we are good teachers, and I don't see that we lose a lot of teachers from pay. It's just they love this little community, so thank you.
We combat the teacher shortage here in Aiken by hanging on to our already qualified teachers. We have 59 teachers with master's degrees. We do not need to go find new teachers. We need to hang on to the ones we have. So as a board, we need to support them. One is capping the class sizes. I know that goes into budget, but children get a better education and teachers feel like they can accomplish what they need to when they have class sizes they can manage. They need to get the necessary supplies for their classrooms, so they're not spending half of the money that we do give them on the supplies for our children. We need to give them access to mental health services along with training. As Jen had said earlier, we have a high number of kids dealing with anxiety. It's hard for teachers to deal with that when that's not something they were trained on. And then we need to treat them like the professionals they are, with respect and as much compensation as we can possibly afford.
Thank you, Holly. For question 5, I'll start with Ms. Peterson. Please take the microphone. I'll ask the question. Describe a board member's role in curriculum development.
Curriculum standards are not generated at the school board level. Instead, the guidelines are provided by the Minnesota Department of Education. It is not the school board's job to micromanage our teachers on their day-to-day lesson plans. It is instead to work with Mr. Sifter to make our curriculum and make sure that our curriculum is meeting state and federal guidelines. Our educational professionals vet and research appropriate materials like textbooks, informational videos, and other learning tools that will be useful in teaching regulated course content. We need to trust them to make the best decisions for their classrooms. When talking about curriculum, it is the job of a board member to listen to the professional opinions of our district educators to enact changes that adhere to the broader goals of ISD1.
I kind of kicked this one around a little bit and thought about what is our role in that we were a board member. And I honestly don't know to the degree that maybe this question means, but from my experience, it's to support, it's to create opportunity, it's to look outside the box. How do we build the education? How do we build this for the teachers, for the janitors? I mean, how do we make it a good place? I think most of the people in the crowd know that I'm never going to be a teacher. That's just the way it's going to be. But I think we are a team associated somehow. We're going to do things that build the program, enable the team. I guess that's what.
Cassie said it best, so ditto. I never really thought about being part of curriculum development until I became interested in being a board member. And I think that the board's role is to make sure that our curriculum is meeting the standards that our students need to meet and supporting those who are delivering that education to our students. It means being a voice for the community so that we can ensure that we are teaching appropriate things to our students, things that are factual, and things that we can be proud of.
The only thing I can add to what Cassie did said is that I'm not sure where we've got right now. That the board has given it over to people in general, parents, concerned citizens, people who are fearful, who are wondering what's going on. Because the board has done that, I strongly believe that they need to follow through to that. I think that if they do follow through to that, because they've already done that, that is going to alleviate some fears and some misconceptions.
The role of a board member is to make sure our children learn everything that they need to learn based off their grade, not from the Minnesota standards, and not based off of gender, race, or politics. We also need to make sure, as a member, that all the main subjects are being taught, and that the children understand what they're being taught and understand the cause and effects. We need to make sure that all teachers, staff, and students have access to the resources and support that they need. Also, as a member, we need to open our ears, shut our mouth, and we need to listen to our children and our teachers.
Curriculum is done by the state, but if it's not done every year, but math this year, English next year, social next year. We used to have 2 community members plus teachers, and then if it was math, we had math teachers plus principals. They would, and 1 school board member. They would bring in, they'd okay everything, then the board would look at it. But as a board, there's one guy and one person on the committee, and you look at that committee, you see, but they're going to like work. You can't do everything, so you got to rely on your other board member that's on it also. If you got a question, you can ask the question, but I'm not going to tell the math teachers how to teach math. So, but anyway, thanks.
We have a wonderful process, and it is in the minutes in the December 21 meeting. If anybody wants to know, the process is set there. We have teachers, parents, administrators, the district curriculum administrator. They all get together, they pick out the curriculum, they go through it, they bring it back up to the board. As a board member, when I go to vote on curriculum, I will be looking for the high student engagement and achievement data in that curriculum, that it meets Minnesota standards, the ease of implementation for our staff, so it's not gonna cost us a ton of money or throw off all of the stuff they've done in the past, and that it's cost effective for our district. Those are the main things for board members to be looking at. Those are where we belong, and not picking out exactly what these teachers teach because they're the professionals.
In my opinion, it's the role of the superintendent, the principals, and teachers to develop this curriculum. They're the professionals and subject matter experts who are more qualified for the task. The role of school board is to provide the framework and guidelines for them to follow and ensure that they have the resources necessary to complete the work. The board's ultimate role is to review and either approve or reject the work. Personally, I will not dictate what is taught or not taught in the classroom. By the way, the state of Minnesota does mandate that standards to a large degree in what is taught. We can enhance those, but we are really subject to that. We have to let the teachers be teachers and share the unbridled joy of learning with their students. We don't need robot teachers. We need them to flourish, and we need our students to learn from them.
Thank you, Roland. Okay, for question 6, I'll start with Mr. Jones. So please take the microphone and I'll ask the question. Please explain why or why not you believe equity is an important part of a school culture and curriculum.
If you look it up, you go on the internet, or depending on who you talk to, it talks about leveling it out the playing field for everybody. And I'm not for that. I'm for increasing and improving the opportunity for every child. Ron, I'm going to use you as part of my example. I'm going to use me as the kid that gets me very well, and I'll use you as a smart math kid. Okay? If I'm the guy that needs extra help to read, I need that tool. I need that education. If I'm the guy that's really smart and passing all my peers in math, I need somebody to give me a tool to go beyond that. Not be 20 minutes done in class, bored, and getting in trouble, probably, you know. But I'm just saying, I really think that equity isn't about all things equal. It's about getting everybody elevated, and we have to have the tools.
To me, equity within the schools is breaking down barriers to allow every child the chance to be successful, because every child deserves that. Every child deserves a solid foundation. Last week, my first grader brought home a letter he was super happy to give me from Mrs. Samuelson. And the letter said, we've noticed that Mateo is falling behind in math compared to where he was in kindergarten, and we want to offer him some extra support. So during midtime, we are going to work with Mateo separately or with other kids who need some help. Now, he already receives a great math lesson from his teacher. He has the same resources in the classroom, the same setting, but in order to be successful, he needs a different approach and a little bit more. And that's equity, making sure that every child gets what they need to be successful.
And to me, that means equality. So let me just give you an example. I would like equity to be applied to me for golf. I would probably have to have a 100-point 100-par advantage in order to win a tournament. However, that would not be fair to the golfer who has been practicing their swing since the age of 2 and spends hours agonizing over how to become better. I recognize that with some handicapped children, there is a need to be lifting them up and encouraging them beyond their capabilities, where equity would be used. I prefer to see the children as capable despite any skin color, economic status, background, or physical deformities, giving children equal opportunities to succeed in the areas that best suit who they are. How does winning a golf tournament build my character if it's just handing me something? I am sure that teachers have this in mind when they are grading papers.
Thank you.
I believe equality is equality. When everything is based off impartial ideas, then the child has the opportunity to create their own thoughts about different subjects without the influence. They kids can create their own judgments and learn their own cause and effects. Every child deserves to grow and learn the same as everybody else. I believe that they deserve the same higher standards as the next child.
Equity to me is fairness, and I think it's great, but the trouble is we get too involved in it, and we start to tip that. We get too many on one side or the other side, and we make the other side wrong, but it's fairness, and that's treating everybody fair, not just your side, there's the other side also, there's two sides of every fence, so equity is, to me, it's fairness. You just get too heavy on it, and we flip it to some other word.
I believe equity is important in school culture and curriculum. Here are some examples of current and accepted equity in our schools. Special education programming, English learners programming, and free and reduced lunch. Those are very common programs we run all the time, and that is an example of equity in our schools, and I 100% support that.
We are all unique as we come from different backgrounds. We have different learning skills, we come from different economic profiles, race differences, religion differences, family structures, and we all have different capabilities. Students need to be treated equally, but in order for that to happen, educators need to be aware of equity differences within the person in order to achieve equality. This challenges our educators, and it's important to include each and every student to provide them with a plan for success. When developing curriculum, it's a good idea to have an in-depth knowledge of student needs. From my personal teaching experience, I found that the good majority of my students pretty much moved at the same pace. A smaller percentage received more one-on-one time from me and even more parent time from others. Because the final goal is that each and every student reaches academic achievement, our student body deserves it.
To me, equity in our schools means that no matter what a student's background, each student has the opportunity to get the support and resources they need to achieve their educational goals. Every child is different, and our school needs to cater to that. Some students need extra time. At the same time, there are advanced classes and college classes, so students can go as far as they like in their time at Aitkin schools. When it comes to school culture, it comes down to the golden rule: treat each other the way that you want to be treated. I love that PBIS is coming back to the school. That was in place when I was here. I think it's a great baseline for how students should treat others and how they should represent ISD1.
Thank you, Cassie. That concludes question 6. So we're just about there. For question 7, I will start with Dr. Burgos. Please take the microphone and I'll ask the question. What are 2 to 3 strengths of ISD1?
Oh, I love this question. It's definitely the people that fill these schools. It's the students, it's the administration, the teachers and staff, it's everybody. It's the parents that come here, it's the community that comes here to watch the musicals. It's everything about our community that makes me love this district. Our students have gone through a pandemic and learning through that, yet they bounce back and they're here every day. We have the best teachers and staff. They're all so dedicated and qualified, and I trust them. I trust what they're teaching my students. I trust my children. I trust they're taking care of them when they're here. I love that our school is small enough that kids don't get lost in the crowd, but big enough to provide excellent experiences for them. The school is a community, the school is a family. Those are the strengths I love the most.
I think of her encouragement, sacrificing, outreach, and there's probably many more. So the strengths are several past that, I'm sure. But I love the fact, as Jen has already said, that many of the staff here are also encouragers. I have seen teachers supporting other teachers. IDS1 is a community in and of itself. I have heard of teachers sacrificing time and money for students. They too like to see students succeed. I appreciate the outreach through community and kids education and the support for working parents with Kids Club. The mentality here is a helping one, which strengthens the cohesiveness.
One of the main strengths that I see in this district is our teachers and our staff. They have a passion for teaching and they help our kids become whatever they want to be, even if it is a dinosaur. Another strength that I see in this district is the action that the school takes to keep our kids safe in school and after school and before school. I mean, we have a cop out there helping kids cross the main road. That is amazing. The third strength that I see in this district is how everybody makes them feel welcome. My kids felt welcome walking into the school after being in a couple different districts. It shows them that people care, that they are loved, and it shows them how they should be treated and how they should treat others.
I got also too, is kids or families in the community here, and another thing is the staff. I don't see, I used to work and drive around and see, I didn't see many staff show up at 8:30 and leave at 3:30. They're usually there before and there afterwards, trying to get the work done, trying to get the next day's work done. So them are the two big things, the family and the staff. Thank you.
One of our strengths here at ISD1 is loyalty. Families return generation after generation. I am a third generation graduate and my kids will be a fourth generation graduate. Our staff stay. Not only do they stay, but our past graduates come back to become staff. Sometimes past graduates come back years into their career to finish their careers here because they're loyal to this school and this community. Our strength with our student success, we have a very high graduation rate. We have a high attendance rate, higher than most districts in the state. We offer a variety of educational programs for such a small district as our college courses, plus our business courses and our trade programs. We also offer a variety of after-school activities, sporting events, and different things. That's a major thing for small districts. Most of them can't offer what we offer, so that is one of our main strengths.
Our three strengths: teachers, students, community. I believe we have great teachers here, an incredible group of skilled and creative and passionate, dedicated, hardworking, and they're amongst the best in the state. I believe the potential in every student to have academic success, and I'll always cast my vote for the good of the students because they deserve it. Community, I believe Aitkin is a wholesome community where we share more in common than we have differences. We're friends and neighbors who stand side by side at sporting events. We help each other in times of trouble. In Aitkin, we cheer together, we worship together, we stand together in times of great joy, and lift each other up when tragedy strikes. I will stand for common sense solutions and be a consensus builder. I'll do this because the kids deserve it.
I had to narrow it down to two, just for time. But number one being our staff. We're so fortunate to have amazing teachers here in Aitkin. They love our kids and are passionate about their jobs. We all know it's not the pay that keeps teachers teaching. Our administration and teachers are working together, supporting one another, and implementing creative problem solving. The second point, our small town advantage. Having more one-on-one time, being able to be a part of a variety of extracurricular activities, and being able to lean on your teachers and coaches in a time of need are just a few advantages Aitkin schools have over larger districts. Many of you know that my father, Brian Kokish, was in a life-altering accident and has since passed away. When that happened, the outpouring of love my family felt from our school helped us get through it, and I thank them every day for that.
When I look at the strengths and I come into maybe a volleyball game or a football game, or a play, the community to me is key to supporting these kids. I've been to gymnasiums in other schools where there was very poor turnout. These kids were not having fun. When we talk about the education side of things, I never thought I'd be a friend of a teacher. or maybe vice versa, okay? But, I can tell you, I really enjoyed as my kids went through the school system and to know that I kind of felt like they were the teacher, more like they were a friend. I really like that culture. And some of them, you know, I mean, we always have the few that are out there. But I think for the mass majority, we're doing pretty good. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. For question 8, I'll start with Ms. Olson. So please take the microphone and I'll ask the question. Declining enrollment is a problem in many schools. What is the school board's role to increase enrollment at ISD1?
As a school board member, my role is to oversee the superintendent and to make proposals for policies and rules that will help the system work more efficiently while serving the whole community. If the system is working efficiently, that makes the atmosphere of the school much more relaxed. It's a place where it can become inviting for both the students and teachers and other staff.
I believe more parents are starting to homeschool for their kids in districts because they don't understand the way they are being taught. I believe this is because our staff is not getting the support that they need to bring that forward. As a school board member, we need to ask why they don't have the resources or the support they need. We also go back to the way things are being taught, not necessarily at working. But we need to focus on education instead of bringing in all the extras. Both things can be taught at home, applicants especially.
Well, you're looking at the biggest class that ever left Aitkin High School, 154 kids, 1978. 5 to 10 kids in each family. Then got down to 2 parents and 2 kids. And now we got, nothing wrong with it. Kids aren't getting married till they're 30 and having 1 or 2. There's another 12 years of no kids. That's our biggest trouble. We as a little town aren't gonna get a whole bunch of people. We're not gonna get 154 kids again in Aitkin High School. But I think we're stuck right at 90. I think we can hold 90 and keep 90. But the big thing is just the family size of the family is the biggest thing that's let drop down. Thank you.
For declining enrollment, we need to build a district that parents want to put their kids in. Districts nowadays need to market themselves with open enrollment and homeschooling and other options. It's no longer just a train of children. They have them and they come to our school. We need to market ourselves, and the way to do that is a clear vision and strategic plan so the potential families know where we're going now and in the future. We need to say, and I know this, nobody likes to hear it, but facilities. Facilities have a direct tie to declining enrollment. When parents come into this area, we have towns within a few miles of us that parents drive. We drive for our jobs. Our facilities, when they are declining, do not give off the vibe that our successful district has. They come and they look at our facilities, and that drives parents away, even though we have amazing success for our students with our teachers and everything else. So facilities are a problem in our enrollment.
The district has lost a number of students to homeschool and open enrollment. We need to support our administration and teachers to greatly improve our facilities to take every step possible to create a world-class educational experience. General economics and demographics suggest that family size continues to decrease, and Aitkin has been turning into the retirement community for quite some time. In 1983, we had 128 kids. A little bit smarter than 78, but the loss of enrollment is being influenced by these factors that we have all there. The board needs to set the tone for positivity, touting the great things that are happening in the school. I'm a leader that talks constantly about positive things that happen because that's the way my leadership is. We need to get back to that.
I believe believe that parents are going elsewhere or doing homeschooling because A, they're in fear. They believe that their children are having a political agenda forced upon them and that critical race theory is being taught. That's simply not true. B, they are seeing the name calling and chaos that is ensuing at our board meetings and they want no part of it. Or C, they see new businesses and hospital expansions happening in Aitkin, which are all great things, but then see a school that's in need of a major overhaul. Our board needs to work together with each other and our administration to show positive collaboration. We need to keep striving for a better environment for our students and staff.
If we look at the statistics that come out when we talk about, the head counts down, and the big question for me and everybody, help us understand why that is. We know that there's homeschooling going on. Help us understand why that is, talk to those families. What separates them from coming to the district? I've talked to some of them, they valid reasons. Understanding the why, right? It's important. You can't approach it, you can't move forward with what you assume, right? We talked about the economics of Aitkin, right? We kind of stall out on some things. The housing, we're talking about the trades and jobs. How do we bring more people in? It's all relative to jobs and kids. It is all relative. And us, I think.
I believe that this starts at the board level with improving communication and building relationships. The board needs to set a good example and hopefully others will follow. A couple of moms and I met with Julie Jensen to talk about the social emotional learning that's happening in the elementary schools. And she said that we were the first people to come talk to her face-to-face about the curriculum. Now, we had heard many things in the community about the curriculum, but nobody had sat down with her and asked what is happening, and told her this is what we're concerned about. And it was a beautiful conversation, and honestly, there were some tears shed. But we committed to communicating with one another and investing in one another, and our community needs to do that too. If you have a bad experience or if you're fearful of something, talk to us. Let us know what your thoughts and feelings are so that we can help navigate that together.
Thank you, Jen. Okay. Thank you, candidates, for your thoughtful answers. For the final portion of the forum, we'd like to give the candidates 90 seconds to offer a closing statement. We will start, this is actually surprising, Celia, but we're going to start with Ms. Peterson. Are you ready? And pass the microphone. Pass the microphone as closings are completed. Yeah.
I'm going to keep it short, I guess. But I want to thank you all for coming. I feel lucky to be up here with my fellow candidates, and I think it was a really good conversation. And to be frank, I'm a little disappointed for those that didn't show up tonight. I think it was a really great opportunity to talk about the issues that you feel are important to being in this role. I also want to thank the Teachers Union for putting on this event when no other organization volunteered to do so. So thank you all. Have a good night, guys.
90 seconds, and I don't have it. What I'll say is, I asked myself probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, what could I do? Why am I so upset about the existing board or the existing lack of productivity? What could I do? So I looked at what have I done, right? What have I been blessed with for education, whether it be high school or a couple days of college I go to, or my career, right? So my career was 31 years, one and a half, over one and a half. We've had thousands of hours of training, leadership training, culture training. I have nothing to lose but to offer whatever. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It might be acceptable to some, maybe not to all, but that's what I think. And there is not, I'll say this, there is not a person up here that does not care. You can tell. That's important, really important. Thank you.
I've heard that some people in the community are concerned that I'm too nice to be on the board. When I told my family that, they all started laughing. Well, they have not seen you at home, Mom. Be assured that I can use my mom voice when needed. In all seriousness, I want to be an advocate for everybody. I understand that my experiences within the district can be different from other people's. Some people might see things I don't see, and I want to know that. I want people to reach out to me. I want people to reach out to the board so that we can be proud of who we are and where we come from. I want to be part of retaining our incredible staff and a part of retaining our students. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for putting this on. And I thought we were going to have lobster and steak offered to us, and this is going to be the best here, but thank you so much.
I would like to commend everyone that's up here, each one of you. This is really nerve-wracking. And it's a lot more than what I signed up for. So I know that others have been going through some of that also. The tremors and everything. I really appreciate your willingness to serve. Like you, I like to serve, and if elected, I will do my best to fill the role that's been previously talked about tonight. If not elected, I will be okay with that also. I absolutely love this community. No matter what happens, come after November, I will still always love this community.
I would just like to thank everybody for coming and giving us an opportunity to express ourselves. I hope you consider me the school board based off of what I believe in our student body, our amazing staff, our amazing teachers, core values, family values, and our fair academics. I do not want to push political agendas, and I want them on our schools. I also believe that we need to give our teachers, our parents, and our kids a voice to hear their frontline workers. They know what we need. We know what they want. Thank you for taking the time to hear my thoughts and your reasons for living. Have a wonderful day and safe travels.
I would thank you also for coming, but this is more for the new board members. Potential, we have 4 out of the 11, 3 couldn't make it tonight. And Denny Cascamp with his health issues for next year. All I want to say is please, please get along. You might lose this week, but you win next week. Don't keep coming back and beat up the whole school, destroy the community. Just get along. Admit you're going to lose. You're not going to always be on your side if you think it's right. There's 7 board members. So you might be on the 3, you might be on the 4, you might be on the 6, but just please get along and agree to disagree. And go talk to the staff and see what the real world's like. Thank you.
I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach with my closing argument or statement. I feel like there is a voter concern that I'm asked about on a regular basis that nobody has brought up, and I am going to directly tell you my opinion on this. It's social and emotional learning. I truly believe in social and emotional learning, and it's important for our children's mental health. I also see that we don't need any new solution to it. At this point, it's voluntary for you to have your child in social and emotional learning or pull your child out. To me, that's compromise. And I don't see where you go further in this. If parents have the choice to keep them in there, then that's great. If you want to make the choice to pull them out, that's great too. I'm a direct person, so if anybody has any more questions for me, just ask and I'll always tell you what I think.
Well, thanks everybody for coming. Just to give you another little bit insight about me, I'm actually a licensed short-term substitute teacher. I taught 35 days in 2018 and 19 in the Red Lake School District and Iowa School District. I spent a lot of time with kids in middle school, and it was a wonderful experience. But what Holly just said, that is reality. We have to have kids. Kids need what she said as part of the curriculum, absolutely. I've been there. I was also a college adjunct professor in 2010. I taught business management and business marketing. Another great experience with college kids, but it was from high school into college, so that was good. I served on several boards. I'm on the University of Minnesota Princeton College Advancement and Advisory Board currently right now. I'm on the Long Lake Conservation Learning Center Foundation Board. That's a learning board. Also, I formerly was on the Central Lakes College and Fond du Lac college boards for business management and entrepreneurship. So I have a great deal of experience in education, and I do want to share it with this community because we have a great community here. I love Aitkin. I was brought here with no choice in 1966 because that's when my parents came. And since I married Kate, I have no choice but to stay here. All right, everybody, thanks. It's been a great evening. I'll stick around. Thanks, everybody. Wonderful.
Okay, well, thank you. This concludes the events of the evening. Education Minnesota Aitkin would like again to thank our candidates and those involved for their participation. We look forward to welcoming the elected candidates to the Aitkin School Board in January. Thank you.